I never thought I'd bury my own sister alive, not literally, but close enough that the feds would call it premeditated if they ever pieced it together. That humid August night in Manhattan, when Lila's smug little leak hit the tabloids, screaming about my dirty $12.6 million inheritance scam, I felt the world crack open like a bad divorce settlement. But here's the hook that still keeps me up at night. I didn't just fight back, I weaponized her own greed against her. Turning her demands into a noose, she tied herself. It started 6 years ago, back when we were the unbreakable Heart Sisters, clawing our way up from that shithole trailer park in rural Ohio to the glittering concrete jungle of New York. I was the grinder, Gemma Hart, the Wall Street shark who traded her soul for a corner office at Goldman Sachs by 32. Lila? She was the dreamer, the one with the Instagram influencer glow-up, peddling ethical fashion from our mom's old sewing machine scraps. We shared everything, secrets, rent, even the fallout from Dad's suicide when we were kids. He ate his service pistol in the garage after the VA denied his PTSD claim, another veteran chewed up by the system. Mom drank herself into an early grave chasing that ghost, leaving us with nothing but a shoebox of Polaroids and a vague promise from Uncle Ray, the black sheep who'd struck it rich in Silicon Valley. Uncle Ray died in a freak yacht accident off the Hamptons, drowned with a bottle of Macallan in his grip and no will in sight. The lawyers called it an estate bonanza, $12.6 million in tech stocks, crypto wallets, and offshore accounts he'd squirreled away from his ex-wives. But here's the buried secret that festered like a bad mortgage. Ray hadn't earned a dime of it clean. He'd been running a Ponzi scheme through his startup, fleecing retirees and single moms with fake AI investment bots. The SEC was sniffing around when he went under, and the feds pegged me as the executor because I'd been the only one he trusted enough to sign off on the paperwork. Lila knew. Hell, she helped forge the timestamps on those emails to make it look like I'd greenlit the whole thing. For family, she whispered that night in my cramped Brooklyn walk-up, her manicured nails tapping the keyboard like it was just another TikTok edit. I took the fall. Quietly. Paid off a mid-level auditor with a consulting fee that vanished into a Cayman shell, shredded the hard drives, and lied to the investigators with a straight face that could have sold ice to Eskimos.
Why?
Because Lila was pregnant by some venture capital douche who'd ghosted her, and she swore she'd end up on the streets if the truth came out. I pictured her belly swelling in a county clinic. No epidural. No nursery. So I swallowed it. Carried the weight of that felony heat like a designer handbag, all while climbing the ladder at Goldman, closing deals on mergers that made billionaires blush. The money? I parked it in trusts, low-profile real estate flips in Queens, and a trust fund for her kid that I named after Mom. Clean on paper, filthy in my gut. Fast forward to last spring. Lila's brand had exploded, Lila Lux Athleisure, sponsored by every Kardashian knockoff from here to Calabasas. She moved into a Tribeca loft I co-signed for, the kind with exposed brick and a doorman who called her Mess Hart like she owned the skyline. Her demands started small. Just wire me $10K for the baby's Montessori tuition.
Gem.
You're rolling in it. Then it snowballed. Private jets to Coachella, a Birkin for her content creation, excuses about how the market dipped and her followers ghosted. I footed it all. Because that's what sisters do. Right? Blood's thicker than the Hudson River sludge. But Lila got greedy. Or bored. Or both. She'd been sniffing around my files during one of her girls' weekends at my Upper East Side pied de terre, uninvited. As usual, with her nanny in tow and a bottle of Veuve chilling like she owned the place. She found the old estate docs, The ones with the redacted ray transfers. Instead of asking, she weaponized it. That Tuesday morning, my Bloomberg terminal froze mid-trade, and my phone blew up. Alerts from TMZ. Page 6. Even the goddamn Wall Street Journal. Goldman exec Gemma Hart inherits fortune from Ponzi peddler uncle. Did she know? Blurry scans of the ledgers. My signature circled in red like a scarlet letter. Lila's anonymous tip. Funneled through a burner account traced back to her IP later. When I hired the PI. The shame hit like a margin call. Colleagues who'd slapped my back at happy hours now whispered in boardrooms. HR scheduled discreet chats about compliance.
My boss.
That silver-haired prick Harlan pulled me aside. Gemma, this smells like a conflict.
Take leave.
Indefinite. I lost the Qatar oil deal overnight. $200 million in commissions evaporating. But the real gut punch? Lila's texts. Casual as a brunch invite. We need to talk. That money's tainted. Sis. I want my half. Wire it today or the feds get the unredacted files.
For the baby.
Love you. Half. That was the $6.3 million she'd already burned through on spa retreats and empowerment coaches, plus interest. She wasn't asking, she was extorting. From the sister who'd shielded her from the wolves. I paced my apartment that night, rain lashing the floor-to-ceiling windows like accusations, staring at the city that had chewed me up and spat me out. Betrayal tastes like cheap bourbon, burns going down, leaves you hollow. But revenge? That's the slow pour of aged scotch. Smooth until it kicks. I didn't call the cops. That'd drag us both under. And her kid, little Evie, with those doe eyes and my old Cabbage Patch curls, didn't deserve the headlines. No. I went corporate. Hired Marcus, the fixer from my derivatives days. The guy who could bury a scandal deeper than Epstein's Island. $50,000 retainer. And he was on it, tracing her digital footprints, mirroring her cloud backups, even charming her accountant with a fake IRS audit scare. Turns out Lila wasn't just leaking to the press, she'd been shopping the story to podcasters, true crime TikTokers, anyone who'd pay for exclusives. Her ethical brand? A front for dropshipping knockoffs from Alibaba, with half the proceeds laundered through Ray's old crypto wallets. The same ones I'd scrubbed clean. By Friday, I had leverage. Screenshots of her Venmo trails to a consultant who specialized in deepfakes. Timestamps proving she'd doctored those estate pics to amp up the drama. And the kicker, emails to Harlan, my ex-boss, cozying up about inside tips on my trades, sleeping her way toward a portfolio manager gig. She'd flipped on me twice over. First for the kid, now for the crown. But I wasn't done. I scheduled the sit-down at her loft, neutral ground, with Marcus parked in a black Escalade 2 blocks away, engines humming like a threat. She opened the door in yoga pants and a silk robe. Evie's crayons scattered on the hardwood like confetti from a bomb. Gem, finally. Coffee? Or should we dive into the wire? Her smile was all teeth, Botox smooth. But her eyes darted, guilt or calculation. Who knows? I stepped inside, the scent of lavender diffusers cloying, masking the rot. No coffee, Lila. Just truth serum. I slid the dossier across her marble island, printouts, timelines, the works. Her face drained, that influencer glow flickering out like a bad filter. You bitch, she hissed, snatching it up. This is fake. You're framing me to save your ass. I laughed, low and bitter, the kind that echoes in empty trading floors. Framing?
Pot. Kettle. Sis.
You exposed me to shame me. Paraded my skeletons for clicks and cash. But I carried Ray's sins for you. Signed the lies. Ate the audits. So you could play mommy influencer in this McMansion. She lunged then, not violent, but desperate, clawing at my sleeve. Evie needs this. You don't get it, you're alone. Gemma. No kids. No man. Just your spreadsheets.
Share.
Or I burn it all. That was her flip. The third, from victim to villain. Pleading to predator in one breath. I let her rage. Watched the tears streak her highlighter. Then dropped the bomb. Wires already sent. But not to you. Her eyes widened. To who? Marcus's voice crackled in my earpiece. Faint. Transfer confirmed. I'd rerouted the remaining $6.3 million, not to her, but to a blind trust for Evie. Irrevocable. Managed by a fiduciary who'd never touch a heart. No access for Mommy Dearest until the kid hit 35. And even then, audited to hell.
It's hers, I said. Clean.
No Ponzi stink. No tabloid taint.
But you?
You're cut off. Try leaking more, and the feds get your dropshipping ledgers. Tax evasion. Wire fraud. The full buffet. She crumpled, sliding to the floor amid the crayon carnage. Sobs that could have won an Oscar. Part of me cracked, the big sis part that still saw the scared girl from Ohio, braiding my hair under the trailer awning. But the shark in me? She smelled blood. Get up, I said, voice steel. This ends your demands. Forever. I walked out into the drizzle. The city humming indifferent, my heels clicking like a countdown. Lila didn't go quietly. Oh no. That would have been too merciful. Too American dream tidy. Instead, she went scorched earth. The kind of petty warfare that turns family feuds into federal cases. First came the voicemails, slurred at 2 a.m. Her Brooklyn accent thickening with Pinot Noir. You think you're the hero. Gemma? Stealing from your own niece? I'll tell Evie everything when she's old enough to hate you. Delete. Block. Repeat. Then the socials, subtle at first. Stories with cryptic quotes about toxic siblings and black and white filters of Ray's yacht photo. Captioned, blood money drowns us all. Her followers ate it up. Family betrayal trending in her niche. DMs flooding my inbox with strangers calling me a soulless yuppie. I could have lawyered up, slapped her with a cease and desist faster than you can say, defamation suit.
But no.
Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a derivatives trade, layered, leveraged, waiting for the volatility spike. I let her stew. Watched from my recon app as her Lux sales tanked 40%. Sponsors ghosting like bad dates. Harlan called once. Voice oily. Gemma. Off the record, Lila mentioned some indiscretions. Come back. And we square it. I hung up, blacklisted his number. The boardroom betrayal stung, but it was her knife I'd twist.
Meanwhile,
I rebuilt.
Quietly.
Cashed in a few favors from my quant days, landed a remote gig at a hedge fund in Stanford. Crunching algorithms from my laptop like nothing happened. Mornings became ritual. Black coffee at a corner deli in Midtown. Scanning the journal for fallout. Then runs along the reservoir where the skyline mocked me with its indestructibility. New York doesn't forgive, but it forgets if you pay the toll. I did therapy sessions with a Park Avenue shrink who billed like a mobster, unpacking the heart trauma in 50-minute bursts. You're not your uncle, she'd say, scribbling notes. Or your sister. Bullshit. But it helped. Kept the rage from boiling over. Lila's next move came mid-September. A crisp fall day when the leaves turned the park gold like fool's pyrite. My doorman buzzed me. MS. Heart. Your sister's here. With the little one. Heart slamming. I descended to the lobby, marble floors echoing like a tomb. There she was, Evie on her hip, thumb in mouth, eyes wide at the crystal chandelier. Lila in mom jeans and a cashmere sweater, looking every inch the prodigal, hollow cheeks, but makeup game strong. Truce, she said, voice honeyed. Evie's been asking for Auntie Jem. Pumpkin patch trip? Like old times? Old times. Ohio cornfields. Hair rides with thermoses of spiked cider. Before Wall Street's grind and her filtered facade. I should have said no, smelled the setup from a mile off. But Evie reached out, chubby fist clutching a construction paper leaf. Auntie.
See?
I made it. Crumpled. Glue sticky.
Pure.
I caved. 1 hour. No cameras. We hit the Union Square Green Market. Air thick with cider donuts and artisanal cheese. Evie toddled between us, pointing at jack-o'-lanterns, oblivious. Lila played the part, cooing, sharing kale chips, even laughing at my joke about Ray's bad investments. He bet on flying cars, should have stuck to drunk driving. For 20 minutes, it felt real. Fractured, but real. Then, over hot cider at a rickety table, she flipped. The trust, she murmured, eyes on Evie chasing pigeons. Change it. I need access now. Evie's school, private.
Jem.
You know the one in the village. With a French immersion? Demands again. Wrapped in maternal velvet. I set my cup down. Steam curling like a warning.
No.
It's locked. For her. Her face hardened. That influencer mask cracking. You're killing us. That money. It's Ray's guilt money. You hoarded it. Let me scrape by while you yacht with Hedge Brothers.
Lies.
All of it. I never touched a drop for myself. Lived off salary and spite. But she leaned in. Voice of venomous whisper. I told Harlan Moore. About the auditor payoff. He's got friends at the SEC. Walk away from the trust. Or we both go down. Extortion. Round 2. With a toddler as collateral. My blood iced, not fear. But fury. The kind that forges steel. I stood, scooping Evie for a hug that smelled of baby shampoo and betrayal. Andy loves you. Bug. I whispered. Then to Lila. Game over. You touch that trust. I release everything. Your dropshipping scams. The deep fakes. The pillow talk with my boss. Enjoy the pumpkin patch from the curb. I walked away. Leaves crunching underfoot. Her shouts fading into market din. Psycho. You're dead to us. That night. Alone in my apartment with a bourbon neat. The weight hit. Was I the villain? Shielding a kid from her mom's mess. Or robbing Lila of agency. The shrink would have called it boundaries, but it felt like amputation. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of Ray's bloated face bobbing in waves. Lila's laughter echoing like a bad echo chamber. October brought the storm. Lila went nuclear. Hired her own PI. Some ex-cop gumshoe who tailed me to yoga in the village. Snapped pics of me lunching with a colleague. She doxed me on a mommy forum. Beware Wall Street witch. Stole from family. IP traces led back to her VPN. But the damage rippled. Harassment calls at work. Eggs on my stoop. Marcus warned. She's unhinged. Gemma. Get a TRO. Restraining order? That'd make headlines. Drag Evie into court.
No.
I countered sly, fed anonymous tips to her sponsors about the counterfeits. Watched Lila Lux implode in real time. Returns piled up. Her Insta followers dipped below 100K. Desperation makes monsters. The breaking point? Halloween Eve. Buzz at midnight. It's me. Don't hang up. Lila. Voice shattered glass. Evie's gone. Harlan, he took her. Said it'd make me sign something. But I won't. Help me.
Gem.
Please. Harlan? That sleazy fuck. Her pillow talk paramour turned puppet master. She'd flipped to him for leverage. And now he'd flipped on her, using the kid as bait. My mind raced. SEC whistleblower dreams. Maybe. Trading custody for immunity on my old sins. Or worse, custody battle fodder to discredit me if I fought back. I met her at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen. Neon buzzing, angels in irony. She looked wrecked, mascara rivers. Hands shaking around a vodka soda. He has papers. Says I'm unfit, the leaks. The money fights. Wants Evie to thrive with his trust fund ex. Her eyes pleaded. The sister I'd buried secrets for. Get her back. The trust, I'll sign it away. Just. Family. Hesitation cracked me. This was the controversy, the moral quagmire where right and wrong blurred like city lights in rain. Save the kid. Empower the monster? Or let karma cull the herd? I nodded. Tomorrow. But this ends it. No more flips. We plotted in whispers. I'd confront Harlan at his office dawn raid. Leverage the affair recordings Marcus had dug up, consensual, but career kryptonite. She'd lawyer up pro bono from a women's shelter contact. Sisters against the machine. One last con. Dawn broke gray over the East River as I stormed Goldman's tower. Security waving me up like a ghost returned. Harlan's office. Panoramic views. Ego in oak panels. He smirked from his desk. Cufflinks glinting.
Gemma.
Back for redemption. I slapped the USB down. Audio of his grunts and Lila's moans.
Timestamped. Evie. Now.
Or this hits every Bloomberg chat. His face purpled. Power flip. Wall Street style. You wouldn't. She's trash. Gemma. Draining you dry. Debate sparked. Was he right? Had I enabled her?
But the kid, no.
Try me, I said. Family's messy. Yours included. He caved. Phone call to his lawyer. Release custody. No strings. Evie back by noon. Lila scooping her in sobs at the precinct. Gratitude texts flooded. I owe you everything.
Clean slate.
I deleted them unread. Trust?
Fucked.
But the high, that tense, thrill of flipping the script lingered like cigar smoke. Thanksgiving loomed like a bad derivative, overhyped, underdelivered. New York hunkered down. Avenues clogged with Ubers hauling turducken and grudges. I'd ghosted Lila post-rescue. Blocked her on everything but a burner for Evie's pics, those gummy smiles a lifeline to sanity. Work hummed steady, the hedge fund gig paid in crypto. Ironic penance for Ray's ghosts. Even dated, a tech bro from a networking mixer. All craft IPAs and TED Talk vibes. Surface scratches on the loneliness. But it itched less. Lila. Though, radio silence from her end too. Until the Saturday before the bird. Package at my door. Manila envelope. No return. Postmarked Queens. Inside, a USB drive and a note in her loopy script. Watch. Then decide. Love always.
Elle.
Curiosity's a bitch. I plugged it in. Screen flickering to life in my dim living room. Fairy lights twinkling mockery. It was a video. Homemade. Time-stamped 2 weeks back, Lila in her loft. Facing the camera like a confessional. No makeup. Hair in a messy bun. Evie napping in the background on a pile of blankets. Gemma, she started. Voice raw. If you're seeing this, I fucked up. Again. But hear me out. Cut to black. Then Doc scrolling. Bank statements. Wire confirmations. Not to Harlan, to a Cayman account I'd never seen. $2.4 million siphoned from the estate before I locked it down. Her voiceover. Ray's Ponzi? I ran the back end.
Not you.
The emails. The bots. I coded them in college. Fed him marks. You just cleaned up. Because I begged. Twist 1. The betrayal deepened. I'd borne the blame for her crime. Not just complicity. She continued. Tears tracking. The leaks?
Not shame.
Desperation. After Evie. The depression hit, black hole.
Gem.
Needed the high of Lux. The validation. But Harlan. He promised to bury it all if I delivered you. Your trades. Your secrets. I flipped for survival. Footage shifted. Her in a cafe. Handing him a flash drive, my Goldman playbook. Proprietary algos worth millions. He double-crossed. Took Evie to force my hand on the trust. But you saved us. So I ended it. The video looped to a final clip. Lila, at a notary. Signing affidavits. This clears you. Full confession to the feds. Anonymous drop. Raise money, half to the victims fund I set up last week. The rest. For Evie. No access for me. Ever. She looked straight at the lens. Eyes fierce. You're the good one.
Sis.
Always were. Forgive? Maybe not. But understand. Fade to black. Coordinates scribbled on the envelope. A park bench in Prospect. Midnight. My gut churned. Relief? Rage? The controversy peaked. Was this redemption or manipulation? A final flip to absolve her soul. Leaving me holding the ethical shrapnel? I drove to Brooklyn that night. Wipers slashing rain. City a blur of sodium glow. Prospect Park loomed dark. Paths slick under sodium lamps. She waited on the bench. Bundled in wool. A thermos steaming between us. No Evie, Nanny's night. You're late, she said. Pouring spiked cocoa. American as pie. This midnight parley. 2 sisters hashing sins in the chill. I sat. Breath fogging. The video. Why now? She shrugged. Shadows carving her face gaunt. Therapy. Real kind. Not your Park Avenue bullshit. Group for addicts, mine's approval. Not pills. Hit me. I destroyed you for a dopamine fix. Confession poured, the Ponzi thrill. Ray's grooming, he called me his little coder. The postpartum spiral where Lux became her god. Exposed you to feel big. Demanded to feel safe. But the trust flip? That was rock bottom. I sipped. Burn warming the frost. And Harlan. She winced. Cut him off. Return the drive, your all goes intact. He's sweating SEC audits now. Thanks to my tip. Flip 4. Her scheming turned self-sabotage. We talked hours, Ohio ghosts, Dad's pistol echo, Mom's bottles clinking like chains. Laughter cracked through. Brittle, her imitating Ray's yacht brogue, me mocking her influencer poses. Dawn crept, joggers emerging like witnesses. But the real twist? As birds stirred, she slid a second envelope. SEC immunity letter. My name cleared. Anonymous source, she winked.
Me.
Dropped it yesterday. Shock rippled. She'd flipped the narrative. Not just confessed, but engineered my exoneration. Tabloids would pivot. Ponzi heiress confesses. Exec vindicated. My career reborn. But at what cost? Her brand? Torched. Future? Probation shadows. Maybe jail if the feds dug deep. You're free, I said, voice thick. But us. She stood, hugging the thermos like a shield. Ends here. Demands forever gone. Raise Evie right. Tell her Aunt Jem's the hero. She walked into the mist, silhouette fading like a bad trade. I sat till full light, park waking to dog walkers and nannies, the city indifferent as ever. Epilogue hits hard, 6 months on. I'm back at Goldman, Senior VP. The Qatar deal revived. Lila vanished to Ohio, flipping houses with a contractor beau. Evie in public school, thriving. No contact, but postcards arrive, crayon scrawls. Miss you. Auntie. Happy? For her? Maybe. For me, the $12.60 mills dust. But the scars? They pay dividends in caution. Readers, you debated over beers. Was my revenge justice or cruelty? Her confession grace or cop-out? In America's gray grind, no one's clean. But damn if it doesn't end the demands forever.